Welcome to another episode. What are you reading? What are you writing? A weekly video podcast features creatives, writers, and readers when we come together to talk about books. I am your host, Karen E. Osborne, author of 4 novels and counting. I am so glad you're here. I think you're going to enjoy our next guest. I have an opportunity to introduce you to a neighbor who is a talent. Wait till you hear all the things he does. So, my guest today is the eclectic Larry Allman, who has a new legal thriller that he's going to tell us all about. It's called Lethal Judgment at Palm Beach. He's an attorney, he's a realtor, he's a world traveler, he's an avid reader, and he is a yoga master. Hey, Larry.
Hey, who is that? Who does all that kind of stuff? Thank you, Karen. It's nice to see you. And I appreciate very much what you're doing. You're making a big difference in the literature world. Big difference.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's start with your writing journey. So your first, how did you start writing legal thrillers? I mean, what was that writing journey like?
Well, it's been long, and you had originally mentioned that my first book was a legal textbook on how to teach intellectual property, actually international intellectual property, which is different than domestic. So that was the first book that I had published because I worked at a very prestigious organization. I was very lucky to get a job like that. And I made a suggestion and they agreed. So that was the first thing. It's not the first thing that I wrote. I got a lot of stuff it's in the drawer. Nobody ever read it. Nobody wanted it, that kind of stuff. And then, the world opened up. There's no reason why everybody can't publish a book other than they don't have enough energy or discipline to sit down and write it. The publishing side is wide open. So there's no more excuses on that. I was an attorney and I read prolifically. I read at least a book a week, maybe two or three sometimes, depending on, whether they're good, whether I want to just go slow. And that's where I get my ability to write and for ideas and, my motivation. Like some guys are so good, you'll never be that good, but, give it a try.
Yeah, they inspire us, right? Wonderful,
Oh,
wonderful
every
books
week.
inspire us.
I'm
So
inspired every week by an author or another, and people
I
like
am
you.
too. I am too.
Yeah.
I'm very inspired by the authors I read. I try to learn all the time. Tell us your writing process. Do you like map out, like you write thrillers? I mean, do you map out the whole story first? What's that process like?
Well, I'm actually the opposite, the exact opposite of that. I don't know where I'm going to go when I sit down. I have the most magical time when I write. A lot of authors say the same thing. They sit down, they write, time stops, the characters start to talk to them. They tell, whatever. That's where I am. When I'm writing, I'm deep inside of it. And these characters, you create them, they tell you, don't do this. I need some help here. Introduce somebody to help me. Whatever. It's magical. So I have an idea that I want to go from a problem to a solution or, something that doesn't feel right to a wonderful ending. And that's about it. I get there, I start a chapter, I try to write almost a chapter every sitting. I write from 9 o'clock until maybe 11 or 12 only in the morning, and it's not always that long, and sometimes it is. So whatever happens is what happens. It's magic. It's magic, and I love it. I do. I wish I could do more, but we do what we can do. So I have no idea where I'm going.
That is, you and I are just alike. And when I was writing my last book, which was a murder mystery, the one that's coming out in March, people, my beta readers and stuff who were reading along with me, and they said, "But who is the murderer?" I said, "I don't know. He hasn't revealed himself to me yet. I'm sure he will, but I don't know."
This is so true. I mean, the
It
characters are
is
talking
magic.
to you, and you create a whole nother world there for sure. For sure. A
It's
lot of
true.
authors are like that. A lot of authors are like that.
I
I've
do
read.
also know authors though who are who are plotters. They map it
Sure.
all out. They have a wonderful outline. So, this everybody just does it their own way, right?
But how much
So
fun is that? How much
it's
fun is that, you know?
evidently they have fun. We're
It's not
not
me.
judging. No
No, no,
judging, Larry.
I have my own feelings about it then.
So tell us about the premise of your latest book, Lethal Judgment at Palm Beach. What's it
Lethal
about?
Judgment at Palm Beach. Okay, so I come from the attorney world. I had 16 years in Los Angeles, my own legal practice. I was a music attorney at first, and then I opened my own office. And so you become a specialist in whoever walks in and is sitting in front of you when you have your own office, you know. So I have a good feel for what's out there, attorneys, the legal system. Well, I did every kind of work you can think of. So the premise of this new book is that there's an attorney in West Palm Beach, which, if you've ever been there, I mean, you got Palm Beach as the island, and then the other side is where all the business is done, West Palm Beach. He's in a firm, he's three partners, and he's very successful. And then all of a sudden, he's got four big cases. The Russian mafia shows up in the cases in different forms and different, vectors or whatever, and they want different things, but they're creating problems for him. How does he solve those? So there's lots of legal stuff. There's a lot of legal stuff in it, but there's also a lot of practical stuff. Here's what I tried to do differently in this book. He's got three really strong women around him. I mean, kick-ass
Mm.
strong women around him. And this is an opportunity because he's a little nerdy. A really good courtroom attorney is a little nerdy because you've got to know so much. You've got to be in control of your emotions and, you got to be totally, totally aware. Anyway, so they help him in the most humorous and fun ways. One is his girlfriend, and the other is a former FBI agent who is his office investigator. And the third one is his secretary, Rose, and they're all just so strong and they just keep him going, and it's fun. But anyway, he solves all four cases successfully, and he finally gets his girlfriend is Ollie, and she's a black belt in taekwondo, so she helps
Mm.
him a couple times with that. And so is the office investigator Cassie. I mean, they're martial artists, and Rose, she just packs, she just has a gun like everybody else in Florida. She carries a gun, but she's real good, like a drill sergeant. So anyway, he solves the cases and he finally gets Ollie to agree to marry him. And the ending is so unexpected. It's just so,
Mm.
out there in space, but it's fun. It's nice. And it ends the way that I wanted it to.
Oh, that sounds so cool, Larry. That sounds awesome and intriguing. Tell us the name of your protagonist. What's his name?
His name is Roger Davenport. Sorry.
That's all
I'm on
right.
to
We have these
I'm on to
moments.
other projects. I almost forgot this one. Roger Davenport.
Roger Davenport.
Roger
And do you have a
Davenport.
copy of the book handy?
I do. Hold on for a second. Just a
Oh,
minute.
yeah, I don't mind holding on.
I'm walking. I'll walk back.
So Roger Davenport, I'm going to ask him about what he likes about Roger and what he doesn't like about Roger.
Roger
So here's
Davenport.
here's the book. Let's see it.
Let's see. Can you see it?
A little higher. Oh
What is this
yeah,
here?
very
Oh, there.
nice.
Okay, this is it. I have a cover
Yeah,
guy in Dublin, Ireland. This guy is so good. I love this cover.
it looks great.
Let me just this is my prior book. This was also a thriller. The cover
Oh
guy did
yeah,
the same.
Downward Dog in Miami.
Yeah, the same cover guy. This guy is so good. He's world famous.
Yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
excellent.
Yeah.
It's excellent. So tell us what you like about your protagonist. What's really good about him as a character?
Well, he's smart enough to adapt. You know what I mean? He runs into situations that
Mm,
are like, not normal. The Russian mafia, what they do, he get I mean, I don't want to be a spoiler, but he gets kidnapped in the thing and he's got to,
mm,
he's not used to that. He's a lawyer. He goes to court, I mean, his hands have no calluses. He's that kind of a guy. Um, and then also, I forgot to mention that one of the other vectors in the story is the FBI. is involved. This is national security. You've got one of the most vicious Russian mafia leaders there. And so the FBI is involved, and they come in and they start to try to take over his cases. And they're tapping his phones, and they're in the conference room one day, and they're having a meeting, and the FBI comes on the conference room system, the communication system, and says, no, no, don't do that. We don't want you to close the case yet. And they're like, wow, what is this? If they're in they're in the communication system. So there's a whole nother vector. He has to adapt to that. He knows what to do in court, but not so much out of court. And a lot of it takes place outside. He's got help. He's got the computer guy from the first book, who's the leading computer guy in the world, actually, in the first book. He's got to call him, and he's got to get him to get computer information so that he can be ahead of everybody. So that's what I like about him. He has to adapt, and fine, he wins the girl, he gets married, they have kids, it's all good.
It's all good. So you are a yoga master. I just think that is so cool. How does that play into your writing or affect your writing or help your writing?
Well, yoga, people think of yoga as just the postures, like it's just exercise. It's a much, much bigger subject than that. It's life enhancing. It's a platform whereby you can have a successful life, good health, you can have a peace of mind. There's a saying in the yoga people that I trained with, that health is wealth, peace of mind is happiness, and yoga shows the way. And
Mm.
it's about your mind, your body, how you eat, how you sleep, how you digest, that you have peace and calm, that you look at things, objectively, you have detachment. Where do you go when you die? What happens? Do you come back? Reincarnation. It's a big subject. So that sort of perspective influences how I look at everything, because I've been doing this
Yeah.
a long time. I studied with one of the real saints of yoga, Swami Vishnu. Studied with him direct. I was his attorney in California, and I traveled with him a little bit. So
Mm.
I have more inside knowledge than most yoga teachers of what yoga is about. The first one, this guy, this one, this computer expert is a yoga teacher. So,
Ah,
I
a
mean,
little
I
of
didn't make it.
Larry in him.
Well, you write what you know. You do, right? You write what you
Yes.
know. So yeah, it affected that one very much because he's a yoga teacher. He's a master yoga teacher. He goes to cities, and he gives a class for a week, a whole week, 5 nights, so that you can be more intense. But he also does his computer business on the side. That's the first one. So, it's very good, good
No,
stuff.
this is very cool. So, you are you working on something new?
I am, but it's not for the public.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
writing, I'm writing. Thank you for asking. I'm excited about this because I just started actually writing it. I'm writing the story of my life with my wife. We're married 33 years.
Mm. Mm.
We've traveled all over. We've been very, very blessed to travel all over the place. I mean, you name it, we've been there. And we've done all kinds of other stuff. Lived in Switzerland for 15 years,
Mm.
worked at a very prestigious organization there, traveled around. They sent me to a lot of countries to teach copyright law to the government. So that's my new project, Our Life Together. And it's for the family and friends. I don't think I can put this on Amazon, but
Mm.
I'm very
So
excited about it.
memoir. That's beautiful.
Bigger, yeah, kind of bigger than that though, because my wife will write, like, I'll say something and then she'll say like an oral history too, a lot.
Oh, very nice. That sounds
Yeah, it's
good.
very
A
nice.
wonderful
Very
gift to
nice.
your family. Yeah.
Well, we've done a lot. They can be proud of us, I think. I
Yeah.
think.
So this is what are you reading? What are you writing? So
Right.
my first reading question to you is, as you look back on your writing style, your writing life, you say that you read books every week and you learn from every author. Is there some author or books that have had the biggest impact on how you write now?
They all influence me, and you'll find. I think you'll see this too. You read a book and it's wonderful, and maybe you drift into that style a little bit that week, and then you read another one, and you pick up what you do. I feel like if I read a book, I want to learn something. I don't want to just read a book to pass time. I want to learn something. So I would just mention one book because it was specifically about writing. And that is, it's a
Mm,
very famous book. It's called On Writing by Stephen King.
yes,
And you know, we all most of the authors know it and whatever.
yes.
And he's, you know, he gave a lot of examples, and he's really a good writer, no question about that. His stories are something else, but I mean, his writing technique is just right there. So one of the things he said was, look, don't use adverbs. You can use you can use more descriptive phrases that work a lot better than just a simple adverb. And I'm saying, okay, that stuck with me.
Yeah, yes, yes. I can't tell you how many people mention that book. And I too found it to be, incredibly, incredibly helpful. So you write, the way I met you was I follow you in my little local newspaper because you write book reviews in there. And so I wrote you and invited you on the show because I knew that you were both a writer and a book reviewer. So have you read something recently that you can, Mr. Book Reviewer, that you could recommend to our audience?
Okay. And incidentally, thank you for contacting me. It's wonderful. I get, I actually get fan letters every week too from that review. I mean, it goes around.
It does. And you do a great job.
it's a great newspaper. They cover this area so well. But I just want to say that the last books that I've reviewed are all wonderful. Everyone, in fact, here's the thing. My reviews are different than what you see in the New York Times or whatever, because I have to love it to review it. And I'm more
Mm,
enthusiastic. These people are like, it's just another file, most of them. And I said, I can do better than that. And I think I have. So this book, Johnny Carson, you can see that, the Johnny
yes.
Carson book, that was excellent. Here's one of my favorite authors, Nicholas Sparks. Love this guy.
Yeah,
You know him, Nicholas Sparks?
of
I mean, if you
course.
want to see what small town America is like, that guy's terrific. Here's one nonfiction. I'm doing a lot of nonfiction lately. This one was about the sanctions on Putin that didn't work. Okay, this
Mm,
was a really, really good book. Now here's another one on health that was exceptionally good. The Second 50. This one, the woman that wrote that is the head of the AARP. She's got more information than any one person in the world on
yeah.
this kind of stuff. Uh, this was here. Let's see. Here's two of my favorite fiction guys. Brad Thor. It was good. And this guy, John Grisham.
Yes.
My God, I love him. Love this guy. So whatever's in that newspaper, I love it. Those are some examples. I'm doing more nonfiction. We try to balance fiction with nonfiction, and we
Mm,
also try to balance the female authors with the male authors. Not so easy, you know. I mean,
that's
there's a lot more
good.
female authors out there. I don't mean to be, well, no, I'm not going to say that. It's okay. I do my best.
You do your best, which is
I
very
do
good.
my
And I
best.
do follow you and I do read your reviews and I appreciate them. They come in my mailbox. So not only do I get the paper, but I'm on your
It's
mailing
in,
list.
oh, that too. Yeah, of course you are. Everyone, I put everyone on there. You know what
It's
though?
excellent.
When I send you, you can go on the computer, you can make it bigger. You can make it
Yes.
much bigger, the print, which is easier.
You even tell us that right in the email. So
I
I
try,
appreciate I
I try.
appreciate you. So Larry, now that everybody's totally intrigued about your Florida-based two thrillers. How can they be in touch with you? How can they find out more about your books? How can they just follow you?
Okay, thank you for doing that. I love what you're doing. I really do. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I don't do any social media. I should, but I don't. And so as a result, I don't sell that many books that way. I have an email address and it's real simple, allman.larry@gmail.com. It's in there. It's on the book reviews. That's all. If somebody writes to me, I write back. I get every week from the review, I get some, one, two, three, five people say, "Oh, I liked it. What about this, that, whatever?" And oftentimes we'll meet. We'll go and have lunch, and I meet a lot of new people that way. It's terrific. So that's
Yeah,
me. That's me.
that sounds good. And of course, we can find your books on Amazon and
Just
uh,
Amazon.
just
Well, no, no.
Amazon.
Well, the last one is just Amazon. They're terrific. Do you not love Amazon? They
I
make it
do.
so easy to be an author, to be a reader, to buy stuff. You order, it comes the next day. How can they have all this stuff, that's close to everybody? I love Amazon. I think it's the essence of America, to tell you the truth.
Well, this you have been such a delightful guest. I thank you so much. I know that you guys have been delighted by Larry. I hope you will pick up his thrillers, that you will read them. And then because he just told you that he returns emails, you write him. So you write him, you tell him how much you loved your book, you write a review on Amazon. We so appreciate you. And I hope to see you next week. And what are you reading? What are you writing? Thanks, everybody. Have a great, great week.
Thank you, Karen. Stay blessed. You stay blessed.
And we're out.